Okay, it's showtime. It's showtime, Tiffany. And
Awesome.
here we are. Hi, everybody. Thank you to another Daughters of Change Live. And today I am with the fantastic, fabulous, and motivational Tiffany Nesfield. And Tiffany, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tiffany. And then I'm going to let Tiffany do the talking because this is not about me. Go put my Santa Claus glasses on. I'm going to break it down for you. Okay, here we go. So Tiffany is a native of Maryland. So hey there, out there, all you Marylanders.
Yeah.
And she's a former University of Illinois Division I track and field athlete. You should check out, you have some really cool photos of you on Facebook, flying through the air. So cool. Anyway, so check that out. But anyway, Tiffany is, as I said, a former University of Illinois Division I track and field athlete. She's been an active member in the fitness industry for 12 years. In addition to working with Division I post-collegiate and professional athletes, and as well as the general public, so you don't have to be an athlete. Okay, let's just get that straight. She spent more than a year traveling around the world training professional tennis player Daniela Hantuchova, right?
Yes,
Hantuchova?
you got it right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hantuchova. Go, Daniela!
Woo!
Tiffany is dedicated to developing human performance through her philosophy of training people as a whole. And we're going to be talking about that. It's really cool.
Yes, yeah.
And she provides a unique set of skills that teach you diverse, effective strategies that she uses in her work. She's a certified active release techniques and neurokinetic practitioner. And Tiffany, I'm going to have you explain what that is.
Okay.
It's a mouthful, but
Yes.
It sounds really cool. And she offers an extra layer of knowledge about the human body that rounds out her services, enabling her to treat various systems of your body as you learn how to not only adopt, but sustain a holistic and healthy lifestyle. So that's the resume, right?
Yeah.
However,
yes,
that's just that's on paper. That's not 3D. So Tiffany,
yeah.
Tell us something about you that we didn't just learn in that
intro.
That intro.
Something fun about me, or something in general. Well,
both.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell us as much as you want about you because it's all about you today.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, I hate that. All right. Well, some other fun, I guess, facts is I love to salsa dance, so I love movement, and that's probably why I do what I do, and I enjoy dancing. And also, I used to be a competitive Olympic weightlifter. So outside of track, I kind of dug into that area a little bit. And just understanding the body and how it moves and being an athlete is really got me excited about helping other people move better. So I now live in Chevy Chase, Maryland. So I'm still native to Maryland, love Maryland, and I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun. You have some really interesting things to talk about. But before we get into the questions, I have to ask you about the ART and the NueroKinetic.
So,
because that's important for people to understand.
It's really important. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of different additional types of certifications you can get to help you understand the body. And I like to put in my what I call toolbox, where you get this information and then you understand it and say, how do I apply it to my clients as they come in? Who needs what? And so active release technique is a type of system that you use to help release muscle tissue, ligaments, fascia. And so a lot of chiropractors uses it, but physical therapists and massage therapists. And so with that coming in, people who have chronic injuries, they'll come in. It's something that I love to use with people with neck and back issues. You can use it with everything, but I like it for more therapeutic massage. When someone comes in with a specific issue and I want to release, and I feel like it's a muscle tissue issue, then we're going to use that. And then the neurokinetic therapy is something where we're testing your muscles and neurologically and see if they're firing. And, our whole body is connected. And so a lot of times something we may be compensating, or something may be shut off because it's overactive or underactive. And so to me, it's like investigation work. I always tell clients, I'm going to literally, be Inspector Gadget right now. And we're going to kind of just see what's going on with your body so that I can kind of figure out what we need to do next. Maybe I need to release something, maybe I don't, and maybe need to activate another muscle instead. So it's just like a deeper way to look at the body and see what's going on, especially because we're just so complex anyways. So
Right, yeah. I love that. And you're because you're training people in a holistic approach, it's really important to know that because like you said, if one muscle isn't working, maybe it's because you're feeling the pain in one muscle, it could be because of something else that's up here or over there and you're not using your body
Exactly.
properly.
It's never where it's actually hurting.
Yeah.
It's more the screaming saying, "Hey, I don't like this. You need to figure out what else is going on so that I'm not hurt."
Yeah, exactly. Well, so this is really, so this is fascinating to know. So I wanted to ask you, okay, I want to get into a little bit because where you started isn't necessarily where you ended up, right?
Yes.
So you were an extremely, extremely hardworking and dedicated and focused Division I athlete, high school into college. You were track and field and into athletics. And you said something when we talked that I thought was really interesting. You found that the physical excellence and the training alone wasn't enough, that there was another piece that was important. What is that piece and what did you learn about that?
So being high school into college, going into that, there's a transition, and I didn't realize until way after how important the mental aspect was. We know our coaches say that, oh, it's, 10% athlete, 90% mental. And so I had that, mental toughness to be dedicated, push my body to the limit and do whatever. But they're deeper into that mental aspect, the social and everything else that comes along that still affect the mental part. Just understanding that you can give it 100% physically and still not reach your goals because there's so many other aspects of your life that have to come together for you to reach your goals. And so that was a hard lesson to learn through college, but I mean, it's a good one. I think it's a life lesson in general. And just understanding how important the mental aspect of it is and how different things can change that and how you feel directly collects of what you do. So if I'm not feeling well, or I'm putting negative thoughts, or I have this lie that I'm telling myself, that's what's going to come out. And so being able to change that around and figure out how do I change what is in here so that I can change the outer and how I'm actually presenting myself and the things that I'm doing on a regular basis.
And I think that's so important that you bring that up and you talk about it because I think people don't always understand that. And I think we saw that at the Olympics this year, right? With Simone Biles, right?
Yeah.
And she was smart enough to know, like, I'm going to get hurt if I don't step back right now because it also, ties in so much with what you're saying about you like to work with people holistically.
Yes.
Right. So it's not just about the physical fitness aspect. It's about understanding how your body works. It's about having your head in the right space. What are you telling yourself? Negative self-talk, all of that.
It's everything. And people don't understand that. I think it was when she came out, it was really big for a lot of people, for athletes of like, hey, understanding that people on the sidelines who may not have experienced that type of pressure and knowing their body in this way. And that's kind of one of the reasons I do what I do now is, as an athlete, we have to know our body intricately in so many different ways so that we can perform the best as we can as possible. And so I want to help people be able to do that. My whole tagline is perform better in life. And that's what we do as athletes. But, everyone wants to do that. And so understanding ourselves fully to full capacity holistically allows that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to ask you, what would you say to your 15-year-old self now, looking back?
There's so many things. It would be another conversation in itself. But one of the things that I would say is just remember to have fun. I think, as we get older, we get really serious and we forget why we started doing something or where the passion was. And so we did it because it was fun and we enjoyed it. And I think a lot of times, life takes away from that. And we forget the reason I'm doing this was because I wanted to have fun and I enjoyed it. And so if I could tell myself that I'm doing this, or I started this because I enjoyed it and I wanted to have fun.
Yeah, that's it. That's great advice. And never mind telling your 50-year-old self. We got to tell people who their 95-year-old selves that too,
true.
right? You want to keep, I mean, I asked you what you tell your 50-year-old. I'm saying that's awesome.
Because I forget. I'm like, I'll remember this. So I remember now. So I forget if I tell you now that you're like, all right, I gotta keep this in the back of my head. So as I get older, I don't forget.
Well, it's really easy. It's easy for that to happen. It's so easy to take the fun factor out of life because we get so intense and so focused, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's great. I love that advice. And which I just touched upon this a second ago, but you initially thought that you were going to become a professional athlete, right?
Yeah.
And things changed for you and your path shifted.
Yeah.
So tell us about that and how you responded.
Oh, it was tough. So I'm saying when I was in high school, I thought I was automatically going to, my goals were to go to the Olympics. And the reason I went to the college I went to and found the coach was because I knew that that was my goal and there was nothing going to stop me from achieving it. But life has other plans and, I'm very disciplined and dedicated, but I got to a point where I kept trying. And I was starting to really struggle because I came to understand that there's a lot of factors into being able to compete at that level. And the resources and every level that I needed to be at 100% wasn't there. And it took, maybe a year and a half a process for me to say, hey, this is not going the way I want to. And I have other goals and aspirations. Is it time for me to hang up my cleats and pursue my other aspirations? And so it took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of hurt, but I was able to do it. It was a decision and I felt good about it after I made it. But from a lot of tears to be able to say goodbye to a part of my life that I worked so hard on. But I also understood that everything that I did at that point was really a stepping stone for the other things that I wanted. And it made me a better coach that I am today. It allows me to better understand people I work with and have the compassion and understanding to help people grow when they're having difficulties, because that's why they come to me. They want to be able to create change. And it's hard to change. It's hard to make that decision to want to do something different than what you're doing right now. So it was a big decision, but an amazing one. I'm glad I did it because I'm here now and I love what I do.
Absolutely. It's funny, but Michelle Obama, I do some work with the Girl Scouts here locally, and Michelle Obama was speaking to them. She took her book and she made it into a program for the Girl Scouts, and she calls that swerving. And she talked to the girls about how she thought she was going to be a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And she, went to the best law school. She gets there and she didn't like it. so she had to swerve, right? But I was just thinking of that when you were saying that. It's like, because she was like really dedicated, Ivy League school, ready, gets the job. And then she's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, I'm glad. I wanted to be a lawyer too, but I figured that out a little earlier. So I'm glad.
Yeah, oh, yeah, right. But you swerved.
I swerved. I was like, I want to do something I love to do. So so I was like, you know what? Let's switch to this direction because I want to wake up every morning and be excited about work. So,
but without the training, without what you were doing, you wouldn't be doing this. I mean, all of that. It's funny how life brings us onto those paths, and it is painful, right? It can be really painful when you're going through it. But
everything that we go through in life is like a stepping stone. It's a learning. Mm-hmm. I learn and take this experience and what does it mean to me and how does it affect where I'm going next. And so I felt like every opportunity I had literally was a stepping stone and a build up to where I am today.
Totally. Absolutely. And one of the things that you did is you did research at Walter Reed. And I thought that was fascinating. So what was the research that you did?
Okay.
And what did you learn and how are you using that now? Because that was all part of this path coming to where you are now, correct?
It was. It's funny because talking about swerving, I was actually pre-engineering in high school and I swerved then and was like, you know what? I don't want to be a lawyer. I was going to do general engineering and become a lawyer. And I was like, I love the body and fitness. And so I had to do research, and instead of doing anything in engineering, I went to Walter Reed and worked in their inpatient physical therapy. And so I worked with one of the doctors there and PT doctors, and I did research on the transverse abdominis, which people don't really know what that is, but it's funny because I end up teaching that when I started with all my clients, because that's your deep core muscle. And so
I
we just
know
researched.
what that is.
It is. You did good. Yeah.
I was a personal trainer years ago.
Oh, great. Okay.
Years and years ago. But I love that you're talking. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. So we literally got to use ultrasound and like to look at people's transverse abdominis, look at it, see it contract, teach them how to engage it. We did research and seeing hand dominance with the TVA. It was actually had a lot of amputees, so I got to see it on all like variety of types of patients. And really how that helped me moving through my career is that, one of the basic things that we even do now is teach people how to breathe and how to use their deep like core muscles, which is so important. Like everyone comes in, hey, before we even start, do you know how to use your core? Are you breathing properly? You need to be able to do that together so that you can perform whatever exercise that you want, to be able to walk properly and that you're engaging when you're moving, because that's something that subconsciously engages. And sometimes just because of things that we do in life, not every muscle engages the way it should, which a lot of people are learning. And so that's one of our things that we do is kind of help you learn how to use the muscles properly and how they're meant to be used. So that was really fun experience, just being able to do that research, and then how it, was able to come full circle into my career later and using it with clients. So
yeah, that's it. And so you're really giving people an anatomy lesson. I mean,
yes, I used to bring pictures.
No, but that's great though, because people need that to understand even like how you're standing when you're lifting weights, or how you're moving, or as you said, how you're breathing. If you can it's like practical math, right? It's like you give somebody X plus Y equals Z. And I mean, I know some people get that abstract stuff. I'm always like, who said so, right? But if you can tell me this is what you're doing and this is how, you're going to make change, or this is going to be your budget or whatever, you're teaching people about their bodies so they understand the basics. So when they're actually getting to the next level with the movement, they understand why.
Yes.
Right?
It's in everyone. But you want to envision it. Some people, you could say, oh, engage your core. I'm like, what does that mean? But if you can break it down, I'm a visual learner too, and tactile. So explain it for those who need to understand. I need to know exactly what's happening, or, then show it. I'm like, okay, see it on me. This is what's happening. And then I want you to feel it on you. And so, and it takes a process. So there's different ways to learn. And so we try to incorporate or use different terminology to get whatever's needed to make sure that it happens.
And I want to dig in more in a second into actually, your business and the training. But I do have a question first. And for any advice for people that might be going through that shift right now of they always thought they were going to do something and now it's changing, or they've done something and they're moving. I think we have a lot of that right now with COVID too, with, people taking stock and changing and realizing maybe they don't like where they've been at. What advice do you have for other people that are in that spot of change right now?
Do it. Do it. Just do it. What I think is really important, especially is being happy. And if you're not happy where you are, this is time to take stock and what is going on in my life, and where can I make change? And is change needed? But what I do see, people are ready to jump before they have anything to jump into. And so just make sure before you jump into something else that there's somewhere for you to land. I'm really big on taking risk. We were like, all right, I'm going to quit my job and then I'm just going to be here. Unless you have a safety net, great, go ahead and do it. And then it's great to have that space where you can spend time and really understand what's going on and make these checklists and understand where you want to go to next. But if not, create that time while you're in that space. Start taking space in, whether it's the end of the day or in the morning, waking up early, and really figuring out what you love to do, what you would do every day, whether someone paid you or not, because that's where you're going to put more hard work and passion into. And when you find that, then figure out, how do I get there, and create that path for you and look for opportunities. So if we're all places just jump and do it, unless there's something there ready for you to go, do it. But if not, just make sure that, I love taking risk, but calculated risk too.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Have a plan. Have some
plan.
right?
Have some kind of plan. Yeah.
Yeah. It is helpful. It really is helpful.
It is helpful,
Yeah. And so now we're going to fast forward to today. You have this
Yes.
really successful business, Nesfield Performance, and you decided to use your experiences to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the driving force behind that for you?
Well, for me, from a high school athlete, I then started to realize like how amazing our body is and how it can change and we can do something and get a result. And then seeing other athletes and seeing people do stuff that was just amazing. And I'm like, we can do that just by deciding and making things change. And then I realized as we got older, I was like, oh, you have to keep doing these things or our body doesn't work the way we always want it. If we there's the aging process.
Totally.
but in general, like as babies, if we go way back, babies, we learn, we don't know anything and we see and we change and we're explorative. And I feel like as we get older, we kind of explored and we stop exploring and then we get set into our ways. And then this is what we do. And we stop moving as much or we stop exploring what our body can do. And so that was kind of my passion is like, I want to allow people to continue to explore, to understand their body. I feel like we don't teach people body awareness. We do, we're taking it out of schools and like, oh, we're doing less and less activities. But even we don't say, how do you do this? How to jump properly? We just do it and hopefully it works, which is great. It's great, but sometimes
until you land the wrong way, right?
Sometimes it doesn't. It's fun to do things. I like to have people do it and see how they do it naturally. And then, but over time, we kind of change. And because of the way we sit or the activities we do, our body changes. And sometimes we just need to relearn some things. And so my passion is like when they say, oh, I've never felt that muscle before, I've never engaged that, I get excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, but it excites me because I'm like, wow, I'm really teaching someone how to have better body awareness, able to use their body better. And that's what gets me excited is like allowing people to make changes in their body that they wouldn't have been able to do on their own. And kind of taking that ceiling they have of, oh, this is just this is the body I have and I'm stuck here and there's nowhere else to go, or this is just it, I got to live with it. But kind of pushing the envelope of saying, no, you can have more, you can do more. And what's your ultimate goal for yourself? It can be different, but let's get to your maximal potential. And so that's kind of like my passion because I've always wanted to do the max, or whatever I can do, like I want to do it fully. So if there's more that I can give or that I can be, I want to continue to grow. And so I get to help people grow and do the same thing.
That's really nice. And to wake up every day and be excited to go to work.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, right?
Yeah.
It really doesn't, especially if you've been in a jobs where you're not excited to go to work. Yeah, which probably most of us have. Now you have as we touched upon earlier, I talked about in the intro, and I think that you and I talked about a little bit before. So you have this unique sort of holistic approach you use, and there are 5 pillars that are the basis of this.
Yes.
What are the 5 pillars?
Okay, so it's mind, nutrition, restoration, physical, and lifestyle. And so normally we have all our clients come in and we give them this comprehensive form. And the first thing we want to ask is, what is your optimal lifestyle? Like if you take out anything that you feel like may be in the way, but if you didn't have anything prohibiting you from doing anything, what do you want to do on a regular basis or achieve or something like that, so that it helps us really figure out how do we get you there? Because there may be limiting factors, whether it's mentally, physically, or things that you're not doing to get you there, and we can help. And or we can help manage your expectations and like, hey, if you do want to do this, this is awesome, but this is what needs to be happening for you to get there. And that's how we kind of help people, because it can seem like a faraway goal of like, yeah, I would really love to do this marathon, or I really, really love to be able, when I get older, to run around with my grandkids. And I'm like, my mom's telling me, oh, you better have kids soon, or I'm not gonna be able to take care of them. And I'm like, it doesn't matter how old you are. Like age is a number. Yeah, it's like age is a number. It does not mean your body stops working after a certain age. So we then really ask questions about even mental, like where's their mind at? Where are they thinking? Is there negative thoughts? What they're doing on a physical basis, sleep, regeneration, are they taking care of themselves, massage, foam rolling, all these details to get a deeper look into what they're doing and how we can help.
And why is it so important to combine these 5 pillars?
Yeah. Well, it's important because people, or in general, we try one thing, like, oh, I want to make this change and I'm just going to, and something's right. Like, I am going to change my diet and everything's going to be great. I'm going to lose weight. I'm like, great. And you may lose weight and you probably will, because diet is really important, but it's not the bigger picture to getting the whole aspect. If I want to go, say, a marathon, I'm going to run a marathon. You just changing your diet is not going to help you run a marathon. It will help in one aspect of, hey, I may drop some weight, so it's less pressure on my body and my joints, but I still have to run. I still have to sleep and regenerate. Once you will run, there's runners who run all the time. I'm like, are you foam rolling? Are you stretching? Are you sleeping enough? Because that takes stress on your body. You have to recover. And mentally, if you're not excited about running, or you're like, oh, I can't run past 6 miles, or there's negative talk, it's not going to get you there. Or that seems too far away. So there's so many things that come into play when it comes to reaching our goal. And if something is off, then we want to identify it and help you figure that out so that we can incorporate the things you need to reach the goals. So make sure you're sleeping, make sure you have the right mental capacity, understanding your body and saying, hey, I can do this, knowing that it's going to take work. So some people want to make change and they're like, oh, but I don't want to sweat and I don't want to be in any pain, and what is good pain? So having the mental capacity is like, hey, for change, it takes growth and there's little, growing pains. And what does that look like? And so getting people mentally ready for that, like to make this big change, there's going to be some things that may be uncomfortable, but it's worth the goal that you want. So it's just trying to allow people to understand that it takes many things to reach their goals, and only changing one thing will not get them there, at least the way they expect.
To give the whole picture. And,
yeah.
Based on your background and some of this discussion, one might think you only work with like professional athletes or really, highly athletic people. Is that the case?
No, not at all. We work with a lot of different people. In the end, like when someone comes in, they're coming for me or our team to help them get better at something. And we use our expertise to do that. So whether it's a professional athlete, they want to move better, and that's what we want to do, and help them move better. I can help a 80-year-old move better, and I can help a 15-year-old athlete move better, or a 20-something professional athlete move better, because understanding the body and the different aspects of their life, we're able to look at that. And a body is a body. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it may move a little differently as their age, but we still go through the same injuries and the same problems, and lack of mobility, flexibility. How we treat may be a little different, but it's still a shoulder girdle, it's still an ankle, that we're looking at. It's still a squat, whether you're squatting at 60 or you're squatting at 20 something. The body mechanics is still the same, and there's just different goals to it, whether I need to be faster and quicker to do something, or I need more stable. And I could probably use that for both candidates. So it doesn't matter, who's coming in. We love to see anyone. We want to help you move better and have freedom of movement. So.
And I believe that you told me, or Patrice told me, you actually have a lot of senior clients, don't you?
We do. Yeah. We have a variety of clients, and we have senior clients who, like they said, I'm in the best shape of my life. And I'm like, great. And they said better than they were in 20. And I'm like, so exactly.
I like hearing that.
I'm like, yes. I love seeing my old client, 7-year-old, doing push-ups. I'm like, see, I remember even having someone who, they looked at me and like, I'm not going to be able to do a squat. I have all these issues. And I'm like, okay. And, what were we doing, a deep squat? Yes. Do we start at maybe squatting a few inches from maybe like 4 or 5 inches at the beginning? Just start the correct movement? Yes. We're, in a year from now, were we doing a deep squat? Yes. So yes. So I'm like, great. But I don't like to use, there are always limitations, but age is not one of them. There could be other things going on, and that's totally fine. And we'll always work within everyone's limitations or whatever they come in with. we like, the troubled clients like, oh, I got too much stuff going on. I'm like, great, that's for you to come in because we want to help you. The people who like, I have everything going well, that's not necessarily a target client. We can definitely help them. We want everyone to continue to get better. But those who are like, hey, I don't know what to do, or I'm having these issues, I have a lot of things going on and I want to be safe and I want to make sure that I can improve, but I don't want to hurt myself. Yes, come see us because we're going to help you do that.
So that's your sweet spot. And based on that discussion, what's your definition of an athlete, Tiffany?
Oh, anybody who is who wants to grow and is focused on performing better in life. Because whatever we do, whether it's competitive athlete or person, like we're performing better in life. As an athlete, I wanted to perform better. And so my whole tagline, perform better in life, whatever we do, if you're a mother, if you're a daughter, if you're a coach, if you're a business professional, lawyer, like whatever athlete, you're trying to perform better. And everything that we focus on doing is going to help you with that. Because it's going to help you with mental clarity, whether you're at the office and you feel good, getting up, moving, doing things, able to focus, whether you're seeing your kids, grandkids moving around, running after them. Everything we do helps you do that. And so, as I say, everyone's an athlete. They're like, oh, no, I'm like, yes, you are. What's your goal? You want to perform better. You want everything that your body to perform its maximal capacity. So.
Yeah, I love that definition. I think that's a beautiful definition. Yeah. Anybody that wants to perform better. I mean, how cool is that? And for anybody just joining us, I'm here with Tiffany Nesfield, and Tiffany is the owner of Nesfield Performance, and she is a former Division I athlete, and she is training people to, as she said, athletes is anybody that wants to do better,
perform better,
or perform better
in life.
Perform better, not do better, perform better in life. So so it's a holistic approach. It's so cool. And how do you help people to achieve their lifestyle? Because we're talking about performing better in life, so it's not necessarily. It could be I want to run a marathon, but like you said, it could be I want to, be able to play with my grandkids, or get this job, or
it's having a lot of deep conversations. I think one of the things is that people come in and we give them this questionnaire and they're like, oh, they're expecting for us to kind of dig a little deeper. And so I think allowing people to really get at the core of what they want, asking a lot of questions, and then we start with small habits. So that's really important. So whenever after we go through everything, we create 1 or 2 habits that are very simple to start making a change. We see where we want to be in a year, and we ask a lot of questions. What are you doing, so that we can better understand and really say, oh, so this is what we need to do. This may not seem now, but this change within this habit, then become behavior. And then after that, we can make another habit. And next thing you know, a few months down the line, your life starting to be revamped and changed, because now the things that you wanted to do are a little bit easier. You're closer to your goal, and you're making the positive changes that you want.
Yeah, that's nice. And you see those successes are empowering.
Yes. And then you have,
you're starting with smaller and then
smaller
building
goals.
Your way up, right?
Yep. You have a lot of small goals. So you're excited, like, oh, I'm doing this. Client's like, great. I've been doing what I like. I'm like, yes. And it's helping break it down and helping to figure out where to put it in and how to make that change. So, whether it's, going to bed a little bit earlier and saying, hey, okay, let's start with 15 minutes, but on Saturday,
right?
Not even every day. Like, let's make it really small, that it's attainable, so that you do it, and then you add to it, and there's something else. So
that makes total sense. And tell me about your team, because I know that you were telling me how important your team is to the success of the business and to the people you work with. So tell us about your team.
So, we have the trainers that are amazing. So it's really important that our whole team be super educated and knowledgeable about what we do in our profession. And we work together. So even as clients come in, right now 2 trainers will see you at a time to do your assessment before, and you even get to see both of them to be how often you train, so that we work together to develop a program. We sit and talk about it so that we have multiple experts, and the expertise be able to make decisions or ask questions. And we also have massage therapy. And so I'm a massage therapist as well, but we have other massage therapists that we connect and say, hey, you need to see them. We communicate. And I think that's the biggest thing that makes us different also, is that we have a great team to work together as far as personal trainers, massage therapists, also going to add physical therapy as we open our new space soon. And so we're trying to create a bigger team that's really inclusive so that we bring this atmosphere of educated professionals that can really help your just your journey into better movement, because it's been the biggest thing for me is, as I learned when I was doing research at Walter Reed, is that there was a gap between the professionals. And so my biggest goal is to try to bridge that gap and get these professionals working together, talking to get the best quality care. And so we're building a really great team here. I'm excited. Everyone here, we enjoy each other. We're excited to work with each other, and we love and we care for our clients. And that's really important.
So you just don't only have a holistic sort of approach to how you're training people, but you're a holistic business within your team. Like you have, so a person comes in and works with you, and they're not just working with one trainer. They're getting a holistic team, if you will, approach. And that's super important, because you're right. A lot of, back in the day, I worked in the fitness industry a lot, and there were a lot of silos. People were kind of doing their thing. And if you wanted to get that whole experience, you had to hire like 5 different people.
Exactly.
Like, okay, here's a nutritionist. Here's my, here's my dance instructor. Here's my weight trainer, so.
Exactly. And trying to get them to communicate and be on time. If they're busy and they're good. And I'm like, so I'm like, we put this. And so have a new space next year, have a nutritionist, like, go see this person. You can connect with them there, schedule, or we can chat. If they're free, they can come and see each other. And so we want this atmosphere that, you come in to see us and we're taking care of you. Like we have your back. We're ready to serve you and get you where you need to go. And we have the right people all in one location.
Really, I just fantastic. Really well thought out,
Thank you.
whole approach. And so that, I'm sure, sets you apart. I know that sets you apart from a lot of other businesses in the fitness industry. Any other things that you feel really set you apart in the way that you would, I should say, Nesfield Performance, your business and your team from other, businesses?
Well, that's one of the biggest things right there. Then also, we're going to be a small, a lot of fitness places will have like tons of trainers, and we're going to keep it small, no more than 10, it'll be 5. And we're going to work together. A lot of, especially in the fitness industry, the biggest thing is a lot of times you have your one trainer, they're gone, all right, I'll see you when you get back. And there's nothing, or you lose them and you're like so sad because they've left or whatever. Like, no, don't leave me.
Nobody makes me squat like you.
I know. But we don't want people to miss out on the opportunity of having continuous training and having the ability to have multiple minds work together. Like we are definitely 2 is greater than 1. And so this team atmosphere and cohesiveness that, hey, if I have an issue or I'm like, this client's, can I, come in, help me. What do you see? And if it's a regular basis and there's 2 trainers, then we're communicating and saying, hey, I think we should do this. I love when me and I talk with Tamika and we have our chats, and I'm like, she's like, I saw this in this training session. I'm like, okay, what do you think? And we get to communicate and create a better program. And so that will just continually develop as we bring in, a physical therapist, nutritionist. So we, have nutrition certifications, but we want to bring in more professionals. So we really have an elite staff that is accessible right at your fingertips, and not like, when do I have to go here and then drive over there? No.
And there's something about like feeling like everybody knows you. That comfort. That family, it's almost like coming home, right? Do you know what I mean? And on that note, you have some exciting news. You alluded to it, but you have some exciting news.
Yes.
So what is happening with the biz, Tiffany?
The business. We are getting a new space. So next year, we're so excited to be opening up a new space. We are literally in the works right now. Literally, my time when I'm not seeing clients is figuring everything out so that we can open up and have this amazing facility and really bring my dream come true and have these amazing employees and have clients come see us. I'm just excited, just to say the least. I enjoy having an awesome team. And when we grow, like, I know everyone's focused, client focused, but I'm also team focused within our employees. Like, I enjoy having people who love to do what they to do and that we can work together. Like, when they see me in meetings and they're like, okay, Tiffany, dial it back a little bit. I get so excited when we're on the same page and I'm like, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. So I'm really excited right now because we're growing. I'm excited about the space. It's going to be different than any other gym that you've seen. It's going to be boutique fitness, and it's going to cater to the new type of feeling that we have post-COVID. We want to have enough space when people feel comfortable, when they feel safe, and have this high kind of technology in one space so that they can come see us and get everything they need in one place.
So that's in Maryland. I want to know when you're coming to Maine.
Because
I need you here for my 60th birthday.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know if we can
I have some soft goals.
Okay.
I think they need to be hard goals.
You can still see it. We'll have some virtual stuff. You can come take some classes. And with time, maybe a few years, but we will be branching out. So,
do you do virtual work? So for somebody watching this that isn't in Maryland, that is liking what they're hearing.
Yeah, so we're in Maryland, but I have a client in New York. Like, we can see you virtually.
Do? Okay.
Yeah. So
tell us about that.
Yeah, so we do virtual sessions as well. After COVID, we already headed that way before. It just kind of shot put us to, hey, we're virtual. So you can do your comprehensive assessment online. We can do your virtual sessions. We do love being in person, and that's great, but that's not always the case. And even if we do see you in person, you may travel, you may do different things for work or where else. We can also see you when you travel. So you can see us in person. We do in-home as well. So we come to you. So we and that's actually, I mentioned before, one of actually the difference with other fitness facilities is that a lot of times now they're doing virtual, but they're only the facility and virtual. We have it all.
You have it all.
Yeah, we have it all.
Which is great. I think I just put your website out here. If I didn't, I'll erase it. Okay. I'm going to show it. Nesfieldperformance.com, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm showing it. Yes. And then I'm going to put it, see, right there.
Yes.
You
there you
can
go.
find Tiffany. I'm also going to put that in the, on the recast. I'll put it in the comments.
Okay. Thank you.
That may have actually showed up in the comments, but anyway, I'm going to make sure that that's there. So people can find you for virtual, so I'm psyched about that.
Yay.
Because I get a big one coming up and I need
All right. Well, then you have our information.
Yes, I do. I need to be fabulous, darling. Fabulous.
Yes.
And I want to, so I'm getting a little slap happy. Sorry. Tell me something. I have to ask this because I love this question. What is your vision and your big dream for your company when you look at, down the road?
Down the road, my big dream is to be in all major cities, to keep
our Maine is a major city.
Yeah, city. Okay. We get cities and other cities. Major, yes.
We have the ocean and lobster.
I know.
I'm pitching for
if you want us, we'll come.
And I'm sorry. I'll shut up. This is about you. Tell us.
So we want to grow. I see us being able to have people connected. So a lot of our clients, even from the beginning, or people who traveled a lot, for business. And I always take me with you when you go. Literally, I had a client do that with tennis. But being able to travel and get your workouts in, whether it's virtual or at another location, to keep the small boutique fitness, because that's where we really get the care. Don't want to get too big in one location, but we still want to grow and be a bigger corporation. So I see us doing that and really helping people have better body awareness and move better and help them reach their ultimate performance. I want to do that with my clients, but as well as my employees, and helping them be able to reach their maximal potential. And so I hope that I can allow them to do that through NP as well as clients. And so creating that vision, allowing other people to want to be a part of it. That's the great part, is having something, but people being attracted to it and wanting to do the same. So
yeah, really nice, a community, and it's Nesfield Performance on the move,
Yeah.
but
going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And you also, just to tie back to something you said way back at the beginning when I was asking you for advice for people that were changing, shifting their careers, changing, swerving. You said, take the risk, but have a plan. Well, you obviously have.
Yes. Big plan. Yes. Let's do it. Yes. Let's do it.
Well, Tiffany, this has been great. But before we sign off, I have 2 questions that I ask all the Daughters of Change I talk to. So here's the first one, which is one of my favorites. What's the best piece of advice? Or I'm going to change that. What words of wisdom do you have for the other Daughters of Change that are out there watching this right now?
Okay. The bigger the change, the bigger the risks, the bigger the reward. And there is no set pace for change, no fast or slow. Just know what your pace is so you can handle the situation. So learn your pace and step out. Be ready to go. Please don't allow change. Don't fight change. Go with it.
Yeah, nice. Embrace it. And for people out there watching, so we have the website. There's the website. Okay, it's right
there. Right there. There you go.
It's like we see people like picking up the Taj Mahal. It's right there. Okay, I didn't do a manicure. And I never do a manicure like I did yesterday or anything. No. Anyway, it's right there. So you can reach out and get in touch with Tiffany. But in what other ways can people connect and support you as you're making this vision happen and, starting in your new facility next year? So how can people connect and support you?
So first, go to our website. It's right there, www.nesfieldperformance.com. Sign up for our newsletter so that you are in the know. We are going to let you know what's going on now. Also in the future, when we're starting to even raise money for this new facility, we want your support. Or also come see us. We want to help you. So you can also go to our IG at Nesfield Perform or Nest Perform, NES Perform, and become a follower, see what we're doing. And share. That's the best thing you can do is let people know that we're here. If you know someone who could use us, send them our way.
I muted so I could put that in the chat while we were talking. So I do have sign up for the newsletter. You've got the website, sign up for the newsletter, but the IG is Ness_.
No, so at Ness Perform.
At Ness Perform.
At NES. P-E.
Okay, I'm putting this right here, folks, so you don't have to go far to find this at Ness Perform. Can we spell perform? At Ness Perform. That's it, right? All right.
Yes.
Perform. I think I spelled it right. If I didn't spell it right, we'll have somebody on that teaches English.
I know, and you can find us anywhere. LinkedIn, wherever you like to socially be. So you can check us at LinkedIn. That's Performance. We're everywhere. So Facebook, we have it all.
Yeah, so check it out. And as Tiffany said, if you're not in Maryland, you can do stuff virtually. So
yes,
it's a whole new world out there. And this holistic approach is really, kudos, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Really, really
Thank
good.
you.
Having back in my youth, spent a lot of time, as I said, in the fitness industry. What you're doing really is unique and it's so cool.
Thanh you so much. Yeah. I really appreciate that.
So thank you for being a daughter of change and making stuff happen and just doing it.
Yes.
I've really enjoyed this. And
me too.
And any last words before we end the broadcast?
No, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. This has been really fun. So thank you for allowing me to be part of Daughters of Change.
Oh, total daughter of change. So ciao, everybody. All you daughters of change and people who love and support them out there. We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.
Bye.